Hi, this is Lisa Lehman. I am 17th Ward Democratic Committee Chair, and joining me today is Judge Candace Randall, who is a candidate for New York State Supreme Court in the 5th Judicial District. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if you could start us off with an introduction, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, please.
Sure. So I actually grew up in Jefferson County, in Rodman, a very small town. I graduated from South Jeff. I went to Clarkson University. I graduated a semester early with a business and technology management degree. I then worked for Lockheed Martin for a short time and went down to law school at Texas Southern. At the time, I had wanted to do international law. So really, that was just, I thought I'd work over in an embassy or I'd work for a government abroad. I was really excited about traveling. I had done some study abroads in high school as well as in college. And I really enjoyed that type of work and just being able to travel. So I thought that that was for me. I came back from law school to Jefferson County, took the bar in New York State, passed, and then looking for my next thing, I had applied to American University and had gotten into their advanced law degree program in international law. But trying to study for the bar and find housing in DC was extremely stressful at the time. So I had waitlisted myself for at least a year. And so in January, I got hired here in Lowville in Lewis County,
Mhm.
and I just never left. You think you have to go abroad to make all these big changes in the world, but I was finding out working in a small town in Lewis County, I could actually make a really big impact on people's lives just by staying local. So I decided I wasn't going to leave. And I was with my husband well, he was my boyfriend at the time, but my husband now. And he was a teacher in Copenhagen, and I just wasn't going to leave.
Copenhagen,
So
New York, right?
yes, yes, Copenhagen, New York, not Denmark.
Yeah.
So which is funny because it's in the town of Denmark, here in Lewis County. But yeah, fun side note story for later. But so I just decided to stay, and within 3 years, I became a partner at the law firm. And then a few years after that, the senior partner retired, and I be kind of took on that role as the managing slash senior partner. And then 2 years ago now my last business partner retired. So I've been running the law firm since then. And
Mhm.
throughout that 14 years, I'm in my 14th year now. I was a court examiner for Lewis County, which they oversee Article 81 guardianships.
Mhm.
So they make sure people are being taken care of and their money's not being stolen. To simplify,
Yeah.
I was a adjunct professor at Jefferson Community College. I taught real property law, which I really loved. Any of my students would probably tell you I'm extremely enthusiastic and I talk a lot with my hands.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that work. And then I also have 4 children. So throughout that time, I got married, have 4 kids, and love just working here. I represent municipalities. I represent now the IDA. We do a lot of work, commercial, residential, property, estate planning, pretty much anything you think your local attorney does, we do that in the office. So it's just been for me for the past 14 years about building a career and making connections within the community, which I have very much enjoyed. And it's been nice. My parents are still in Jefferson County. My husband's parents are still in Jefferson County. So very much a local person, just who stayed. And I never left. So it's been nice.
Excellent. And can you talk a little bit about first of all, the state Supreme Court in New York, what kinds of cases it hears, what sort of job that is, but also a little bit about the Fifth District because it is very large. I'm here in Onondaga County, and it's in the same district as you mentioned, Jefferson County. So can you talk a little bit about both of those, please?
Sure. So I guess first to start, the Fifth Judicial District encompasses 6 counties right now. There is actually a bill on the governor's desk that would change the Fifth Judicial District. So I'll get to maybe a little bit later why this race is very important. But so far for now, the 6 counties are Oswego County, Onondaga, Jefferson, Lewis, Oneida, and Herkimer County. So, you can be all the way up in Little Falls and Herkimer County, and then you need to
Yeah.
go all the way, to the lake in Oswego. So quite a very large district. And people often ask me, will you live in Lewis County? I'm in, even my,
Yeah.
family and friends in Jefferson, they say, well, I can't vote for you. Well, you can, because the way that the district works is a judge who gets elected on the Supreme Court can be asked to sit in any of those counties to hear cases. So they want, obviously, the voters need to choose you. So that's why and the district is really big. And that's why we have to run in all of them. So for Supreme Court, you hear mostly what we would call as attorney civil cases. So
Mhm.
that's not going to be no family offenses. You're not going to hear any criminal matters.
Mhm.
You're not going to hear surrogate court matters. Surrogate court is death court. So that's where you go for wills to be
Yeah.
probated in estates. So Supreme Court is going to cover everything from your guardianships.
Mhm.
So mental hygiene law is heard in Supreme Court. You're going to hear like claims against people. So if someone owes you money over $3,000, 5,000 in some counties, depending if you have a city court, that's going to be filed in Supreme. Any disputes with like your neighbor. So say you have an easement issue or a property line issue, that's going to be Supreme Court. Um, Let me think of another example. You are going to hear foreclosure matters
Mhm.
are going to be in Supreme Court. So really just civil. Anything that's not going to fall into criminal or family law. Oh, and divorces. Divorces, people sometimes think are family, but that is actually a matrimonial is a supreme issue. Municipal issues, anything county. So that's going to be heard in Supreme Court.
Okay. And then what made you decide to run for New York State Supreme Court? Like, what motivates you?
So in this particular race, I've actually always wanted to become a judge, which is kind of funny because I really thought that I wanted to do this since fourth grade. And that's after I decided I didn't want to be the president of the United States. So for some reason in fourth grade, I already knew that that was probably a bad thing to run for. But Supreme Court had a longer term. So obviously that's much nicer. So in my mind, it's always been more of a duty and a service to the community. You don't run to, for the glorification or anything like that. You run to serve. So in my county, very specifically, we have one judge that sits in our county. His name is Judge Charlie Merrill or Charles Merrill,
Mhm.
and he's retiring.
Mhm.
Um, there are not many attorneys that live in the county,
Mhm.
and or that would qualify to be able to run. So for Supreme Court, New York State says you have to have 10 years of practice before you can run.
Mhm.
Um, so it was really myself. You can run if you're also older, but there are some cognitive tests that the state says you have to take now. So I just thought, for a long time, I was a little bit worried, like, oh my goodness, who are we going to get to run?
Yeah.
As a practitioner, you don't want that seat to be vacant or that seat to be filled with somebody who's not from here. Any attorney will tell you, you want to know who's sitting in that seat and who's going to hear your case. Um, so I was like, well, why not me? I really thought about it for a good year and decided that I was going to run. It was more important to me that we keep the seat local from the county
Mhm.
than it was for me to have my law practice stay open. And that's again, as one of the only law firms in the county. It was just more important to me that people be able to have that access to the court and have a local person hearing their cases.
That makes sense. Is there anything else? So you've shared a lot about your background and all the work you've done, but is there anything else you would like voters to know about your qualifications for this office or what you bring to it?
Sure. So I am currently a town judge for three towns in Lewis County. So I'm also the only attorney judge in Lewis County as well. So a lot of people don't know this, but you can be a judge at a town justice level and you don't have to be an attorney. I happen to think we have some of the best lay attorneys up here in Lewis County that I get to call, my colleagues and work with on a daily basis. So I do know what it's like to be a judge and be in a courtroom. So I do have the experience on the other side of the bench. You do have to make hard and tough decisions that probably a lot of people won't like, but I'm used to it. Well, I'm a mom, so I'm used to making some hard decisions anyways that, the kids usually don't like. But it kind of sets you up as being a town justice that you do kind of have this experience with the system on the other side. But I do also have experience being in the courtroom as an attorney. I have cases under my belt, surrogates court as well as Supreme Court. So I do feel like I am qualified. I don't think I would run if I didn't feel I was. But I am also aware that there are things that I will not know when I get there. And I think that that's important to be able to identify what you don't know and then have the willingness to be able to learn. And I think I do have that, and I possess the quality to be that I'm hardworking and definitely ambitious enough to run and want to learn if I need to.
Excellent. And you mentioned a little bit about the importance of this race. Just for context for those out there who maybe don't always pay attention to all the details out there, this is a case where there are multiple people running for multiple seats, but there are only two Democrats running in this huge area, right?
Yes. So there are 4 seats open within the district. So the seats that are open are in Lewis County, Jefferson, Oneida, and Onondaga County.
Mhm.
Um, Myself and Betsy Fortino are, I'll say the main Democrats that are running.
Mhm.
At the convention, 2 other attorneys did step forward to say that they
Mhm.
would run as well, so we would have a full ballot.
Mhm.
There are 4 Republicans that are also running for those same 4 seats. So it's the top 4 vote getters that will really be the winners. So you could have 2 attorneys or judges, if it's a judge that's running that live in the same county. Um,
Okay. And
that
so
get elected.
someone like me who lives and votes in Onondaga County in the city of Syracuse, I get to vote for four, and it's
Yes.
across the whole area. Okay.
Yes, but you also, I think it's important that you to know that you don't have to vote for 4. So a lot of people think that they are somehow like violating their civic duty if they don't have 4 votes, kind of circled in. But you don't have to do it. A lot of people are talking about bullet voting
Yeah.
or just voting for certain candidates. So it's really important. One, you don't have to vote for 4.
Yeah.
Uh, and also just vote. I guess that's, my biggest thing is a lot of local elections are happening on this off-year election, one of the last off-year elections that we'll have. And it's just important to get out and vote, important
Yeah.
to get out and run. There's a lot of these local offices that I'm seeing, especially here in Lewis County, where no one's running or no one's running opposed. So
Uh,
engage yourself in that process. And, my parents have always said, if you don't vote, you can't complain. And if you're still
yeah.
complaining, then you better run.
Yeah.
Um, so I was kind of brought up in that type of a household that definitely valued going to the voter box and making sure that your voice was heard.
And we live in times where it's hard not to be distracted by what all is going on the national level, but your vote makes a much bigger difference on a local level too. And
Yes, I know a lot of the local ledge or local town council. That's one of their main messages that I'm hearing when I'm going around as well, talking to people. They're saying that we are the closest to you. Your vote for us is what's going to matter the most, because it's true. Your local town board is going to be voting on a budget. Your county votes on a budget. So if you don't know what's going on, go to a meeting. Everything's open to the public. So it's definitely, the lowest ones are going to be the one that is going to affect your life the most.
exactly.
Mhm.
One last question for you. If someone is interested in getting involved with your campaign, how can they do that?
Sure. So we have a website as well as a Facebook page, and the website is electjudgerandall.com.
Mhm.
And I believe that you can sign up to volunteer on there. And then the same thing for Facebook, send a message, and the campaign manager will be able to see it and get back to you. I know for now, the big thing is signs. I
Mhm.
think you can even request like a yard sign on there. It's a little bit strange in a judicial race because we, the candidates, can't know a lot about who's helping, who's giving money,
Ah, got it.
a lot
Yeah.
of things like that.
Yeah.
We're were kind of shielded from that information. So, yeah, but if, I'd certainly love anyone's support and just get people to vote. That's the biggest thing is make people understand what the race means and get people
Mhm.
out to vote.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today. Um,
Lisa.
yeah, and to all of you out there, just a reminder that if you find this content helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can hear from all of our great Democratic candidates. Thank you very much.